YouTube, what is going on? It is James with Make an Opening, and today we have Wedge Yellow Pilot Deck Tech coming at you live, coming at you hot and quick. Shout out to Suns Down Gaming and Blocks Prime for leaving comments on this channel in previous videos, letting me know something that you guys wanted to take a look at. Honestly, I've had a lot of different ideas brewing in my head. This set is probably my favorite set in the entire game. I think the more that I've been thinking about it, I think this set is actually eclipsing set one, maybe by just a little bit, but I honestly it's really back and forth right now. But it's mainly the leaders, the theme of the set. I've always loved the dog fights in Star Wars and the ships, and it's just so cool thematically. And I want to play with so many of these different leaders. I had so many ideas for deck lists, so I just kind of scrolled through some of my comments, weighed out who was recommended the most, and Wedge was recommended the most. So this is a Wedge Yellow deck tech. So go ahead, make sure to leave a comment down below who you guys want to see next from the Make an Opening channel from yours truly, Mr. James. Let me know why you want to see it, who's your favorite leader so far, and make sure to like and subscribe as well. Share the video to your friends, family, loved ones, grandma, dog, cat, whatever. Let's get into the list, but first I gotta flex a little bit again. Yeah, we twizzed up. Yeah, we twizzed up. 114 Razor Crest and the 48 Houndstooth were twizzed up, man. I got another prestige box. The carbonite boxes I had to. Pack 2, I got my Razor Crest 114. Low-key, I'm trying to sell them to get some more. If you want to talk shop, leave a comment. Also, Lord and Savior Admiral Trench Showcase. Man. Into the deck tech. I need somewhere to put my face. I'm kind of covering the sideboard. If you want to take a little peek at it, I'll let you take a screenshot now. Wait, hold on. Take a screenshot now. And then I'll move my camera the way you can get the sideboard and do another screenshot for me. How am I going to pose? Okay, cool. Let me move this back. So this is what I cooked up today at work. Played a few games on Petranaki. Did pretty well. I went 7-3 in my games. I lost 2 games to Django Tarkentown, 1 game to Han Solo, but I also beat Han Solo twice. And I beat a couple other ones. I beat a Luke, I beat a Poe, bunch of miscellaneous things. Everybody's playing a lot of stuff on Petranaki and Carabas right now. So, but this is the list I've landed on. Basically, Wedge as your leader. He is a 5 resource deploy. He can either deploy as a 3/6 on the ground or a 3/4 pilot onto a vehicle. His action is you exhaust him, play a card from your hand using pilot, and it costs 1 less. So this is the pilot tribal leader that you want to build. If you want to do a lot of pilots, this is your leader. I'm going to break this deck list down into a couple bite-sized pieces of the different parts of the deck and what makes it tick and what makes it work. But basically, we have a lot of rebels, we have a lot of pilots, we have a lot of ships. When it comes to pilots and vehicles in this deck, the only thing that's not a rebel, I believe, is Poe, because he's resistance, but he creates an X-Wing token when you play him as a unit, and then he can pilot it. And with piloting in this game, like if a resistance unit pilots a rebel ship, it's not like the rebel ship turns into a resistance ship, it's still a rebel ship. So that is all hunky-dory by me. Poe Dameron is still a really good pilot, and we'll talk about him a little more actually the very next slides, because the first slide we're going to is, dang it, hold on. Boom, the pilots. Let me move my head again. Hash Brown. Come here. Whee! Hash Brown, let them know about pilots. All right, guys, this is what you're gonna need to know. Pilots are the newest mechanic in Star Wars Jump to Lightspeed. What you do with pilots is you equip them to your ships with no pilots currently on them, and they act as an upgrade. Be wary of multiple instances of piloting, because you cannot do that. Also, if you're playing against Han Yellow or hard control with blue, run for your life. Also, Django is a hard matchup as well. That is all. Thanks, Hash Brown. Thanks for the synopsis. So, as Hash Brown said, that's how the piloting mechanic works in this game. That camera might start shaking a little bit. These are just a few of the pilots that are in the deck list. and some of the ones I don't want to go over with you guys right now. So the absolute strongest pilot in this set, in my opinion, has got to be Chewbacca, the faithful first mate. He is a 5 resource 5/6. This unit can't be defeated or returned to hand by enemy card abilities. Already, just like if you didn't pilot him, its stats are pretty good, and its ability, boom, it's going to give control decks a bit of a problem. Obviously, control decks aren't really popping right now, but and then if you look right down below that, his piloting cost is 3 for a +3/+3, and it does the same thing. Yeah, it does the same thing. People are already playing cards like General's Blade in Sabine decks because it's a 3 resource +3/+3 that you can put on Sabine when she flips if you don't get to the Darksaber. And people just don't care about the actual written text. They just pop it on Sabine for more damage. This is an insane upside because your unit can no longer be interacted with except by being damaged. It's insane, and I love it. I gotta be honest, I love this card. Definitely the best pilot in the entire set. But as you can see, we got a couple really cool dudes right next to him. Number 2, the 2 resource Luke Skywalker. You still with me? He is a 2 resource 3/2 with no text. But if you pilot him for 3, just like Chewbacca, if this upgrade would be defeated, you may instead move him to the ground arena as a unit and exhaust him. Pretty cool. So you can't give up any 2-for-1s to your opponent. So if he is piloting a ship and your opponent waylays it or bamboozles it, confiscate, disabling Fang Fighter, or just defeats the ship by any means necessary, you keep your Luke Skywalker and you move him to the ground arena. So very cool. Only downside, if you're playing against blue and they no glory only results, he then goes to their ground arena. At least that is what I am currently believing right now. So very cool. Another very cool leader, Dameron. One hell of a pilot. Yeah, they put the H word on a card game made for children. That's a little weird. He is a 4 resource 3/3. When played as a unit, create an X-Wing token. You may attach this unit as an upgrade to a friendly vehicle without a pilot. Basically what this means is it's not a 4 resource 3/3. It's a 4 resource 4/5 because it'll give it +2/+3, and it can attach to the X-Wing that it creates, which is a 2/2. So it's effectively a 4 resource 4/5 ship. But it could also just create an X-Wing and stay on the ground for a total stats of 5/5, or it can just pilot on to a vehicle that does not have one that's not the X-Wing that you create. So if you already have a ship with no pilot, you create an X-Wing and then hop into that one. You know what I mean? He's a very flexible card. And just like pilots in general, pilots are super cool because they're flexible. You can play them on the ground and they'll have a cool effect sometimes. Not Luke, obviously. But you then can also, equip them to a vehicle, and not all vehicles have to be space vehicles. Every vehicle in this deck is, though. My bad. But yeah, pilots are probably my favorite part of the game. Actually, no, the ships are my favorite, but this is my second favorite. Piloting is so cool. If this set was set 1, pilots would be going insane, bonkers crazy. Unfortunately, the top of the meta has a lot of answers to piloting, which makes it a little feels bad to play sometimes, but it is still super fun, super worth playing. Do not let the meta scare you. Don't do that. For the next slide, we got the ships. A couple highlighted ships. I'm going to use the prestige variants because who wouldn't? These are so good. And I believe I have one of all of these at least. So I might just make this in paper. But actually, I think I want to make Luke in paper first and not Wedge. But blue leader, it is a 3 resource 3/3 ambush. One of the best cards in the set. When played, you can pay 2, and if you do, you give it 2 experience tokens and move it to the ground arena. So you can ambush it as a 3/3 in space and then move it. Or you can move it and then ambush, or that's it. It's pretty flexible, and you also just don't have to pay the extra 2. Millennium Falcon is really cool because we're using a lot of pilots. You can deploy 1 additional pilot onto him, and it gets +1/+0 for each pilot on it. So if it has 2 pilots that are just say +1/+1, it would get +4/+2 instead of +2/+2. So it would be a 7/6 instead of a 5/6, which is really cool. The extra power does definitely help. get out and push some damage. Does anybody see the jokes that I'm doing? That was gas. That was gas. Last but certainly not the least, Red Leader Form Up. The 4-resource 3/4 Rebel Vehicle Fighter. This unit costs 1 less to play for each friendly pilot unit and upgrade. Basically what that means, it doesn't matter if your pilot is in the ground arena chilling like Luke Skywalker, or if your pilot is piloting a ship like Nunb or Chewbacca, right? It doesn't matter, you just count them all up and it costs 1 less. You can realistically play this card for 1 or 2 in this deck, as long as your stuff isn't getting interacted with a whole lot. And then when a pilot upgrade attaches to this unit, you get to create an X-Wing token. So you buff them up and you get a free 2/2 for it. If I was running R2-D2, you could equip 2 things to it and make 2 tokens, but I'm not currently running R2-D2 in the list. Sue me. And lastly, to bring this deck all together, we have the Rebel Synergy Package. Some of your favorite Rebel staple cards from set 1, set 2, set 3. These are all from set 1. Staples in Sabine, Staples in Leia, blah, blah, blah. Medal Ceremony. Give an experience token to each of up to 3 Rebel units that attack this phase for 0. I love this card. I've always loved this card. I love the art on the card. And honestly, the Luke in this card art looks a lot like the showcase Luke, if you really think about it. Can I like zoom in a little bit on here? I don't know how, actually. You guys see what I mean? Like, look how you see what I mean? Next up, we have Rebel Assault. You get to attack with a Rebel with +1/+0, and then attack with another Rebel unit with +1/+0. It is Leia's ability tied to a card for 1 resource. Staple, really good card. And then Wing Leader. Not only is it another ship that you could pilot, or a vehicle that you could pilot, but you give 2 experience tokens to another friendly Rebel unit. And guess what? All your units are Rebels. Boom. It doesn't miss. Except for Poe, if he's on the ground arena, he is resistance. Whoopsie. Whoopsie daisy. And again, here's one final look at the deck list. We got other pilots that I never mentioned, like Nunb, Anakin Skywalker, Han Solo as well. You know, why did you not talk about them? Doesn't really matter. We also have other vehicles I didn't mention, like your standard Rebel ships that would fit in these colors, the colorway of green, yellow, and white, obviously. And then just other good Rebel cards and synergy cards, and also some extra reach as well. We have some surprise strikes. We have Waylay if you're going against someone else that's trying to Voltron out and make big ships. We have breaking in to get through a Sentinel, and we also have some swoop downs as well if we really need to kill some ground troops, because we are really heavily focused into space, but with pilots, they are flexible. You don't have to go pure space. You can go 50-50 if you need to. You know, and you also have the ambushers of Han Solo and Blue Leader, which are really good, and they can interact with both arenas. So I think this deck really does have some cool legs. It's a fun deck to play. If you play it, let me know how it goes down in the comments below. Who's next? Like, comment, subscribe. I hit my hat. Now it's sideways. See you next time.